Oh, no, like.
I now call this meeting to order of the Madison College Student Senate at 4:34 p.m. Huh? Oh, wow, that is not great. Well, we're having technical difficulties on this computer here, but we're moving on to roll call. Let me open up the roll call here on my computer. That's not great, man.
Roll call starts now. President Brito,
Here, present.
Vice President of Administration and Finance, all present. Vice President of Legislative Affairs, Hashmi.
He's absent.
Vice President of Team Development, Salifu. Vice President of Public Relations, Jackson Winters. Supervisor Cole.
Present.
Move to Trucks Campus Senators. Senator Avila.
Present.
Senator Sarah Brunner.
Absent. Mhm.
Senator Kamara. Senator Kamara.
Hey, Bravo.
He's looking at me.
Are you gonna say anything? I guess he's not present. Guess he's absent.
You might mute it. He's like.
Wait, who did you guys call?
Ibrahima, can you hear us?
Well, type it in the chat. If he doesn't say anything,
Okay.
that's penalty. Move on.
Senator
Declan.
Declan.
Rafter.
Senator Declan Rafter.
Present.
Senator Valario.
Senator Villarreal is present.
Senator Wilkin. Senator Wilkin.
Present.
Move to regional and metro campuses. Portage Senator Crowder.
Present.
Reedsburg Senator Stacy Bronner.
Oh, absent.
Fort Atkinson Senator Dirks.
Present.
Goodman South Senator Kissaman.
And we can see your camera, by the way, Sylvia.
Oh, okay. Present.
Okay, and it's not the end of roll call yet. We're gonna circle back. Ibrahim, are you there? Say the word present. We can count you.
Yeah, here, present.
Okay, perfect.
For the mix.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. Our quorum is met. Now it's time to read the opening script. Welcome to our General Assembly meeting of the Madison College Student Senate. This is a public meeting. It'll be recorded for transparency and record-keeping purposes. We're going to cover a few basic items before beginning. If you lose connection at any point during the meeting, you can reconnect by clicking the link or calling the number in your original email. To senators and other members online, please activate your video and keep it on for the duration of the meeting if it's possible. Use the raise hand feature when you'd like to be recognized to speak, ask questions, request a roll call vote. As chair, I'll do my best to call on committee members in the order in which hands are raised. Lowering your hand will take you out of the queue. At this point, we pull up the meeting minutes.
Minutes or agenda?
Minutes.
Minutes. All right. Here you go.
So our communications coordinator, if you want to walk us through it.
Sure. So essentially, last meeting, we had a couple of speakers come in. We had Gretchen Rixey and Imani Alford. They're both associate VPs of student. Well, one's of advising career employment and transfer services. The other is access and success. And essentially, they came in and talked about the renovations going on over the next year or so at the Truex campus over by the Gateway, having to move some of the student services over to the foundation building across the street. And so we asked questions about how, students with disabilities would be able to access that space easier. And they did say they do have virtual kiosks that they're trying to work on. And also they recommend using the crosswalk to get over there. Let's see, we also had Raitzy from our student representative from the district board come in and talk about her role at the college as a ambassador for student needs and how she works directly with Dr. Daniels and the other VPs at the college to give a student perspective on the issues going around at campus. Let's see, then everyone gave their reports. And we also inducted our newest senator, Declan Raptor. So he is now joining us officially as a senator. We also passed some resolutions as well. Passed one for Native American Heritage Month and International Students Week. Those two got passed and the premium parking got tabled, which is now going to be taking place today.
Yes,
So that
sir.
pretty much covers it.
Okay, thank you. At this point in time, do we have a motion to approve the meeting minutes?
A motion.
Motion by Senator Villarreal, second by Senator Crowder. Is there any discussion? Seeing none online or nor in person, we can do a vote of unanimous approval. If no one opposes, this motion passes in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Motion carries. We can move on. Next item on our agenda is the reading and approval of the meeting agenda. So I'm just gonna pull that up quick. So you'll see here, this is back to our standard reporting format. We'll have discussions on the premium parking initiative like Lando mentioned, and then SEC petition update and on new bill number 2 on attendance policy. Since VP Hushman's not there, I'm the co-sponsor, so I will introduce that. And then I have a little year in review, and then there's a little just announcement and from Senator Avila. So there we go. If that all sounds good to you for a meeting, hopefully it wraps up quicker. There doesn't seem to be as much on these, so we won't spend so much time. Does that sound good? Move to approve by Senator Crowder. Do we have a second? Second by Senator Dirks. Thank you very much. Any discussion? Seeing none online, seeing none in person, we can do a vote by unanimous approval. If no one opposes, then this motion passes in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Motion carries. The agenda is approved. We can move on to public comments from Ellie Rome, Director of Student Life. And just a little bio while it gets set up. Ellie used to be the former advisor to Student Senate as well as PTK here on campus. I had the privilege of having Ellie be the Student Senate advisor for 1 semester. I put her through that, so thank you for dealing with me. And now she's the director of all of student life for all the student organizations dealing with us, and she goes to the SAB, and she's temporarily the co-chair of the Student Activities Board as well.
Starting in
And
January.
starting in
So it's
January.
like tomorrow.
Yes, and she has a lot of interests in French and art.
Intro. Does everyone get a little spiel at the beginning, a bio?
We've been doing that this year.
Okay, cool. Well, that's new. Great addition. Nice to meet all of you or to be here with you. This is actually my first time presenting to Senate as not the advisor, so this is interesting to me. So I am here to talk about some changes that I and a smaller committee are proposing related to commencement. So commencement is the actual ceremony. Graduation is the getting your degree, right? So I'm going to use commencement and graduation interchangeably, but the actual ceremony itself is called commencement. So this is coming to you before I have actually presented it any higher up. Partially because I failed to get this group together over the summer when there was actually a dedicated person from Senate to be on this committee. And we kind of rushed to get things happening in October, November. So I really wanted student input before I go any farther. So there is no guarantee that this is actually happening. Don't start telling people this is happening. I am really here to get your feedback so that I can use that to potentially change the recommendation or maybe, hopefully, back it up when I go talk to other folks about it. So this is not something that is definitely happening, but something that I want you all to give me any thoughts about that we may not have been able to consider since none of the members of the committee were students. So let's go to the next slide. Thank you. So this smaller committee I convened this fall. We were supposed to be identifying criteria and a process for students to participate in a commencement ceremony when they still had remaining classes to take. So this might feel like, why are we looking at this? So the background is that we have lots of students who want to participate in the ceremony early, and we pretty much let them, which is fine, but it is a logistical nightmare, as I'll talk about a little bit later, for the Student Life Office to be able to manage all of these one-off approvals for students to participate early. Because we're dealing with, in December, like close to 1,500 students, and in May, it's almost twice that. So this is no small thing that we are trying to coordinate with our students. So we're trying to, the goal was really to look at what are the criteria that a student might need to meet, or under what circumstances could a student participate early. And I say this is our initial charge because I'll tell you kind of where we ended up. Next slide. So these are the folks who were on the committee. So it was myself, Deanne Zickert, who works at our front desk. She supports graduation in a big way. So we are the two people from the office that really make the ceremonies happen. Sarah Gomez from Academic Advising. She was involved because academic advisors are typically the ones who we were hearing about these sort of one-off requests for students to participate early. Either they thought they were going to graduate or they're really close and can I please participate? So academic advising, key area in this process. Winter Petrie, she is a project and process analyst in enrollment services. So while Student Life plans and organizes the ceremony, I actually know almost nothing about the degree requirements or how close you are. You can come to me and say, hey, am I eligible to graduate? I would have to go run a report that says these people are eligible to graduate. Look at that report, see if your name is there. Like that is not our area. All right. So Student Life plans the process. Enrollment and Records actually manages your information and sort of keeping track of what classes you've taken, what are the classes you still need to take in order to get that degree. They're also the ones who kind of send out the diploma after the fact. So the degree deferral, not deferral. I always say that wrong. Conferral, degree conferral, all records, Student Life, planning the ceremony. But important for them to be involved because this does involve records things. And then Janie Wilson from RISE also had an interest in being involved, as a lot of the RISE coaches also send students our way if they might want to participate early. So that's who was part of it. What do I have next?
One second. Oh, there it is.
All right, so let me give you some more details. So this is the background that I presented to the committee the first time that we met. So students who are not yet done with their required classes can request to walk only during the ceremony. So those are folks who might have a class or two left or something like that. They want to participate in the ceremony now. So I'm going to use walk only a lot as we continue going. In May 2024, 10% of all students at the ceremony were walk only. They were not on our original graduation list, but sort of by request, hoping to participate in the ceremony. That is a huge number. So we're talking 700 to 750 students total participated. We dealt with 75 individual requests of getting them into the program and getting them all the information they need. And I came into this role last December. And what I found out is there are no guidelines for when a student can walk only. So it was basically someone reaches out to us in student life and says, hey, can Annette participate in the ceremony this semester? I'm like, sure, why not? It's not like I'm going to ask how many credits you have left. What is your current GPA? When do you anticipate graduating? Like, we didn't have any of those guidelines. So initially, I thought this committee was going to create those guidelines under which someone could walk only. Are we following so far? Awesome. Yes, so those are some things. We had nothing. I think I mentioned those. Yes, next slide. So our current process, students who complete programs in summer or fall are invited to participate in December. So after they have actually completed the classes that they need. Students completing programs in the spring are invited to participate in the May ceremony. And students can let us know up to 2 days before graduation that they're planning to participate. So this is some other important context as I get to the point of where this committee sort of switched directions. Next slide. This is just more information about why it's a logistical nightmare for walk-onlys. So folks need to talk with their advisor. The advisors contact Student Life. Student Life talks to records to report them as walk-only. Then they show up on the different reports that I run, but we still have to manually add them to the program. So all of our communications, make sure they're up to date with all of the things that they need to know. So that is a lot when we're talking in the spring about 75 to 100 students. And yes, that is it. All right, so what we actually learned, because the committee was smart and asked, hey, why did these students want to walk early? Great question. So I looked into it, and luckily we kept some notes last spring. I don't have that from the past because I am just have one semester of graduation under my belt at this point. And it was determined that students fell into one of 3 categories. So either they were waiting for credit for prior learning to count, so some other experience or educational thing that could count toward one of their degree requirements that was not actually a class. They declared their program late, but they had met all the requirements, so they just hadn't actually officially declared their program, so the query didn't pick them up to say, yes, you've met your degree requirements. Or they were a summer grad. That was the most common case, is that lots of students who had 1 or 2 classes left, they were going to finish over the summer, really wanted to walk in May. And I get it. So that accounted for all of the students. There was not a single student who requested to walk only that was planning to finish their degree after the summer. So it turns out that just including the summer graduates in the spring ceremony could eliminate the vast majority of those walk-only cases. If that were the rule, we would not have all of these exceptions to the rule. So I did some research. I think that's my next slide. What the other largest technical colleges in our state are doing. So these are the ones that definitely have 2 ceremonies. A lot of the smaller schools only have a ceremony in May, so I didn't look into them. And what I found is that pretty much every other school, a lot of them didn't have all that much information, but the ones I could find, they have spring and summer grads walk in spring and fall grads walk in fall. And of other note, they have much earlier deadlines to let folks know that they're planning to participate in the ceremony. So that's a separate issue that I'm also planning to sort of work toward an earlier deadline that's not 2 days before the ceremony. I mean, MATC is 6 weeks before the ceremony. I don't think that's ever going to work here, but just some other information that I learned while doing some research. So my recommendation is really going to be that we switch when we have summer graduates invited to the ceremony. It seemed like the easiest solution rather than creating all these guidelines for this walk-only problem when we could really sort of address that problem by switching who comes to what ceremony? What is my next slide? Oh, my proposal. Great. So the final piece is really limited exceptions. So we would still have a process if, someone was graduating in December, the only class they need to take, but they're an international student and their family can only come for the May ceremony. I'm not gonna say no to that. Like we need to allow for some exceptions. So I want to start to think about what those exceptions might be. And that might be where you can provide some feedback of what do you think of what I have proposed on the next slide. So before we go to that, what do folks think about spring and summer grads being invited to the spring ceremony, fall grads going to the fall ceremony? Assuming I can work out all the logistics with records and all of that stuff. Initial reactions. I saw nodding and smiling and landed.
So would we have to impose like a formal like credit amount that they would need to be eligible? If they're like need one more or two more courses during the summer, would we need to consider that potentially? Like how close, like numerically, how close they are to actually reaching their degree requirements fully?
That is a good question. Something I need to work with records on to determine how far in advance can we kind of tell that a student should be graduating.
Yeah.
Right? So, I don't remember, who knows when summer class registration opens up.
It says it online.
Yeah, I'm sure it says online somewhere.
So obviously we would not have any data before that point for sure. But I hope that we can get to a point where we at least put out there, hey, if you plan to graduate this summer, let us know that.
Yeah.
And a lot of the other schools actually have, rather than relying on a list that we generate, they put out there, apply to graduate.
Mhm.
Like, if you think you're graduating spring or summer, submit your application now, then it's reviewed, and then we let you know if you can participate. So I'm interested in kind of switching that up, and it might be less dependent on what these reports can tell us and more what students believe is happening. If they're wrong in some way, we can work with them and their academic advisors to figure that out. But that is a really good question. Other questions or thoughts? Yeah.
Yeah, I guess my question is that limited exceptions. I don't know, I just keep thinking about the people that might need to have like a winter graduation for whatever reason. I think it's okay to make it like a default, but I just want to make sure that's communicated that theoretically you could ask if you have an issue, or like some sort of statement says, if you have an issue with this, please let us know and message this. Like, I just want that message to be like front and central so that people, be like, oh, this doesn't work for me. And then
Yeah.
they have that resource to think to do it. Cause like if we make exceptions, but no one knows about it, then it's kind of like, well, then unless you make a big fuss and you won't know, then you're like, oh, I guess I'll have to deal with not having any of my family come to support me because no one can come during this like specific one. You know what I mean? I would hate for that someone to go through that.
So, alternative, one of the schools, don't remember which one, says summer graduates can pick which ceremony they want.
Yeah.
Like, would that be a better option?
Yeah, I like that personally.
Okay, great. I'll write that down. In my head. All right, Cole's gonna reach out for me.
Write that down, write that down.
Yeah, and I do think if we moved to more of a apply for graduation, and then we sort of check on the back end, that we're not gonna like lose folks, right? So if you do graduate in summer, you have that option either semester. You're not relying on whatever list we run. If you graduate, you should be able to walk in the ceremony. Other thoughts or reactions?
Just-
Something stuck in my throat? Yes.
In situations of where students try to walk twice.
Oh, really?
I don't know. So I do know that sometimes students complete multiple credentials and they walk more than once.
Yeah.
But that still earning that. So some programs have credentials along the way that lead to a degree. So
I was
that
thinking,
happens in that way. One thing is that, students might be listed in a program more than once. So any students who walked last spring, graduated in summer, may have been in the program in spring if they let us know early enough, but they will definitely be in the December program now. So that is definitely already happening.
but it's not like an issue. You don't have a student who graduates, let's say, from human, or has 2 classes on human services, they do walk only, and then they come back next semester to do the formal graduation.
I don't think I've seen it, but I don't totally know. I don't think I'd have a problem with it. I mean, if you want to sit through all those names, it's a great experience, but I don't know about doing it 2 semesters in a row. Yeah, other reactions or questions, things to consider?
So you talked about 3 categories, and so far this proposal encompasses the summer grads. But then those first 2 categories, the waiting for credit to count and declare the program late. Are these clerical issues then, or I'm trying to get a little more insight into how that happens?
Good questions. Those are things I need to learn more about. I actually had the head of academic advising reach out to me with a question about credit for prior learning, and I was like, oh, no. I don't know when those are tracked or if there's any way to make that happen earlier. Yeah, so I really need to work with records in particular to understand what's happening with those 2 areas, or how students end up having the wrong program declared for so long, sometimes to the point where they end up in the program in the wrong place. I've seen that happen. And I think a lot of that is just like a student didn't realize that it was never official. And they just kept getting all of the classes done that they needed to. They assume they're graduating or they know they're graduating, and it just shows the wrong degree. Yeah, so more problems to continue to fix in the future.
Makes sense.
I have a question for you. Saw that you sent an email out looking for volunteers for graduation. How is that going? Are you getting enough volunteers to come in?
I could use more help during the day. I have lots of folks at night. So if you're interested, yes.
So you also mentioned to me that is a paid opportunity as well.
Mhm. It is. And if there's any increase of stipend and hourly and all that jazz, I'll give you another stipend. I don't know, I'll figure it out. Yes.
I was just gonna mention that there's the possibility too that some students, oh, here, I'll give you an example. My son was dually enrolled in the welding, manufacturing, and the athletic program, because he
Wow.
wanted to apply for all of them
Okay.
to see where he landed. He got accepted into each of them, but then when he registered for classes for welding, the other one stayed on there
Yeah,
until we finally figured out how to drop it, and we didn't know it was a problem until all these test things kept coming up saying, you need to come and take this test, that test. So that could be a
yeah.
possibility when students apply for more than one program.
Yes, I have definitely had a student tell me at graduation, like, my name's in the wrong spot in the program. Like, this is what I initially thought I was gonna do, but now I'm doing this. So yeah, I think that is important, and I don't know how we
I
help
can
to
send you
get
the
the word
process
out.
of how we, I mean, you might already know how to solve it, but
Nope.
okay, I'll figure it out and send it to you.
Awesome. Like, I can't actually see what you all can see in your portal. So yeah, it's tough sometimes. You know, academic advisors is where I tend to send people. All right, so going on to my last slide, since I know I have like 3 minutes left. So what should the criteria for that walk only be, right? So if we're keeping some sort of exception, I would like to have some guidelines to actually ask a few questions and say yes or no, you meet these criteria. So this one is important to me, that it's not just I want to be there 2 semesters early or whatever it is. But really, like, there is a compelling reason, like I mentioned before, of international student or somehow like family or could not be there, or you're leaving the country, right? Like extenuating circumstances that would not allow you to participate in the future or not allow people to celebrate with you. But the other questions are kind of what the requirements might be about number of credits remaining and whether you need to be enrolled in order to participate in the ceremony, which could be tricky, especially if we're already saying summer grads can do it, participate in spring. Like, let's say you are hoping to participate in spring, you're not finishing until December, but you have a financial hold on your account, so you can't register for classes until later. Like, I don't want to say no to somebody because of that, right? So there's so many extenuating circumstances out there, but I want to get closer to like, here are general guidelines. So we did do a survey of academic advisors and some of the RISE coaches of how many credits do you think a student should have left in order to participate early. The most common response was 6 credits or less. And they were total mixed bag on whether students should be enrolled in those remaining classes before they're able to participate, because they came up with all sorts of extenuating circumstances of why that just might not be possible. So this can either be a conversation to continue another day, because it is kind of a separate issue now. They have kind of what we identified as the summer spring big solution to the majority of these. So what do you think? Yes.
So I just thought of another scenario. So what if a student were to be in the liberal arts transfer program? Does that bar them from participating if they don't fulfill all the credit requirements before the transfer? But then what if they got the credits they needed from that 4-year institution and wanted to come back just for the ceremony? Is that something that you've had to deal with?
That's funny. I was talking to someone last week who might do that.
Mm.
So that would be where the credit for prior learning would
Yeah.
fall in, whether that's transferring credits back or something else counts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that technically would be possible.
Okay.
So I don't think that if they were planning to complete those credits somewhere else,
Mhm.
I would not say that they could walk out.
Okay.
I would say that they could walk once those count.
Yeah.
They can come back.
Yeah.
If they really want to.
We have time for one more question.
Or an extension. People have. Okay, fine. Evan?
Okay. I just have a question. So like, do STEM students also walk at the graduation or?
STEM Academy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 'cause they're getting real degrees.
So I
Doing
guess,
it for fun.
I'm
Yeah.
making a motion to extend it by 4 minutes. 5
okay,
minutes.
so moved. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second from Senator Villarreal. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, vote unanimous approval. If no one's opposed, this motion passes in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, continue.
I just wanted to mention that I really like the 6 credits or less, and I also like the having the extenuating circumstances in there, because in addition to like international students, I mean, someone can have a child or they could have had surgery or something like that, so.
That is true. Yeah. There are many reasons that might prevent somebody from participating in the future or now or whatever. Yeah.
Is there like a list of extenuating circumstances, or we kind of just use our common sense judgment? Although I know that there's gonna be like fringe cases where it's like, oh, does that count? And like, you're gonna encounter a new one every single year, I'm sure. But
I mean, right now, it doesn't even matter. Right now, you want to walk. Great. You're close enough. Come walk.
sure,
But I would like to develop sort of some guidelines around that.
as long as there's like an appeal, I'd be fine
Yeah.
with it, so that people can like state their case on why they need to, go outside the norm.
Yeah.
'Cause I think, I don't know, I'm kind of that guy that was like, well, I need to do this for whatever reason, so I just
Right,
like that
too.
fringe case.
Having an appeal to the executive.
Just a chance to justify their case,
Right,
you know?
yeah.
Someone here had their hand up, or I was
Yeah.
saying, okay.
What was the problem with the status quo that made you want to develop guidelines?
It was awful. It was so awful. So the person who was doing all of the communications for graduation with students really struggled last semester to keep track of all of the students and what programs they're in, because otherwise they're pulled in from a report we have, right? So we just drop, all right, here are all the nursing students in the program. But for each of those 75 exceptions, we need to make sure that we have their program right, we have their GPA, and that they have received the communications that they need in order to pay the graduation fee, register for graduation, show up to the ceremony. So it was a struggle to keep track of all of those individual students and make sure that they could participate. And then we straight up got some of their programs wrong, and I feel terrible about that, right? Like I want this to be the best experience possible for students, but when we're juggling so many of these extenuating circumstances and not falling within the report that we have, there's just so much more room for error. And I see there's a hand up behind.
Yeah, we're gonna go back there. Yeah, lend our voice to Mr. Quinn Matson.
Yes.
Okay.
Did you say that letting summer grads walk in the spring will, I think you said that's the majority of these cases. Is dealing with that going to like take weight off of your shoulders in dealing with it, or is reducing it by half like it's still gonna be a mess?
So I think then of all of those walk onlys from last semester, I would say it was less than 20 that wouldn't have been picked up in our report if we automatically included summer grads. So it was a very small number. And I do think it would take that burden off. The only thing we need to consider is, will the ceremony get too big? And will it get too long? So I know that that is a risk in what I'm proposing. But if students have the option, like you mentioned, suggested of spring or fall, maybe there will be an even split between those, that maybe it won't be so much. But I do think that this proposal would ease a lot of the sort of administrative work and burden. Good question.
Thank you.
I think we have just coming to the end of the 4 minutes.
I just wanted to ask something really quick. In reference to the 2-day time period, what would you like to see that be? I think that's ridiculous. I'm sorry.
Yeah, sometimes students literally show up the day of and they're like, hey, can I walk? And I'm like, sure, I'll find you. Literally. So what would I like that to be? Probably 2 weeks.
Which means it should be 3 weeks then, so you're not stressing yourself. So that's why I'm going.
And my 2 weeks is, so I've dealt with the seating for the last 3 years, I think. And it's stressful in those final moments, but I think if I had 2 weeks instead of 2 days, like I could handle any of the sort of exceptions that came in after that without too big of an issue.
Would you like a motion from us of what we support?
No, I don't think so. I think if there is any disagreement, or any other thoughts you would want to share, I will take them, but yeah.
I guess that was, sorry, Lando, one more statement and then I'll final.
You mentioned having like a committee formed to kind of go over this last semester during the summer.
Yes.
Would you like to reinstate that at all, or sort of what are your thoughts on that?
It's possible that we would still get some folks together for that last piece of it. I feel comfortable making a recommendation or looking into whether it's feasible to do the spring or fall for summer grads, unless I'm seeing opposition, but I do think that is my primary thing that I want to put forward right away, knowing that it wouldn't go into effect until next year because we have a lot of stuff to figure out. But yes, if we do form another committee, it would be specifically focused on those exceptions. And I would love to have someone from Senate involved.
Okay.
I guess my only statement is that when this committee does get formed, if we could get invited and find someone who has availability, and then if this committee comes to a conclusion that final product be like, presented to us again for any final checks, kind of like the shared governance loop out process.
Yeah.
I think that'd be smart. And you probably already anticipated that, right? You already
What?
planned to do that,
No,
so.
Of course,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah, no, I know how the, damn it, I can't remember the name of the process again. It's like a, something IB process.
IBPS.
IBPS, there you go, yeah. I don't know what it stands for, but I know those letters, so, yeah, but that's all. So it sounds like you're in that, we're aligned in our mindsets, and we've asked you a lot of questions, so thank you to Director Ellie Rome for my. Oh, I have a question. Can
Yes.
you also bring plates up from downstairs?
Bring plates.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you.
I can bring you some plates.
Great, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, okay. I am gonna go home and eat dinner with my family.
Yeah.
But have a good night, and I'll just drop the plates.
I love that.
All
Thank you.
right, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, we do have some other public comment if they wish to have it. This time, we're gonna ask some of our guests online before the in-person guests. So I'll start with Christina, since I forgot you that one day. I don't want to make a habit out of that. So Christina, if you would like to introduce yourself first, since I forgot you that one day. I made it intentional to not forget you this time.
Thanks. I appreciate that, Kai. Hi, my name is Christina Bankhead. I am in the software web development program at Madison College. And I didn't hear the other part. Was I supposed to? Oh, I don't have any comment at this moment.
Yeah, like what do you, like why are you interested in Senate, or like what do you, I don't know.
Oh, I thought I wasn't doing it till next semester.
Oh, no, this is
But,
not like a formal thing.
I mean, I
Just
can
curious.
answer now. It'll have to be like a summary because I
Yeah,
know
nothing official.
write it out. But I would like to support the students as far as advocating them, being an advocate for them. I'm doing this off the top of my head, so I apologize if this doesn't flow out correctly. But I've been a part of Student Senate before, and I appreciate the fulfillment or the fact of accomplishing things to help better the student's experience here as a student on campus, whether that be transportation or whether that be making sure that they have access to certain things they need, or however way that looks, whether that's a bill or proposal or actually putting together an action plan or like connecting with an outside source within the college or outside the college. But yeah, I can't think of anything else at the moment. But will I be able to do this again? Because I was not ready to answer this question right now.
No, this is not Christina, this isn't official. We're just going around and just letting people know who people are. So, yeah.
Okay. I was gonna
That's
say,
all.
okay.
Well, we will prepare you when that day comes and you're ready. You will let us know. It'll be so formal. Don't you worry.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
No problem.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Jeremiah, I did see you today. If you are, if you want to talk, feel free to pass if you don't want to. But if you just want to introduce yourself and your major and what made you interested in coming in here today.
Sylvia invited me, and I'm part of and I'm interested in that.
Dang, it sounds like you're underwater. I hope you're not drowning. Can you say that one more time, please?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, good.
I am part of the liberal arts transfer program, and I want to major in psychology.
Okay, he's gonna be a mind hunter. We love that. And you said that, I think you said Sylvia invited you, so thank you, Sylvia, for doing recruitment. Sounds good. Okay, well, hopefully you learn about what we talk about and what we advocate for and how we center students first, try to make the experience better for people. So just keep that in mind, please. Okay, moving on. So Andy, over there.
So my name is Andy. Is that a reason I'm here, right?
Yeah, like, what you studied and why are you interested in coming today?
Well, like last time I said, you, Kai,
Yeah.
told me about it, and I just wanted to know more about student advocacy, and then just exploring what y'all do. And then
Yeah, I know you listen to a lot of politics, so I know you have ideas for how things work, so. Okay, okay, we can move on. So, Mr. Quinn.
I also was invited here by Kai. And Jose told me about it the day I planned on coming here. I didn't realize he was a senator. And I'm also interested in politics, and I might want to study something that that will let me get into policy work. I'm in a liberal arts transfer program as well. And I've been somewhat involved in political work in the past, and I'm coming to try and like see what's going on here. Actually, I heard someone told me that a few years ago you had to buy your textbooks.
Yep, in 2018, before that, that's what it was.
And that was and student senate like spearheaded the rental program, and that feels like a very tangible change, like that improves like everyone's like getting through school here. So so if that's the kind of thing that we're doing here, then I would love to get involved.
I will say that was a decade-long process that took over the course of 10 student senates. It took them that long to get it to the point where, but we are I think one of two schools in the technical college system for Wisconsin that has one of those. And since we're the first one to implement it, and since 2018, we've had, from the last time I heard from 2023 spring, we've saved $1.4 million in students from spending money on textbooks.
Right.
And that's not including last year, 2023 to 2024. We don't have those updated numbers, so it's only gone up from there.
We better get started on the next project.
Hopefully it doesn't take 10 years. So, yeah. But thank you, everyone. It sounds like that's all the new people that came. That's all of public comment. Now we can move on to something fun. VP Salifu, I hope you're not feeling under the weather, and you can build us up with whatever activity you have planned.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, it's just like the end of the semester, our last meeting. So I would like to hear a feedback from everybody who is present here and online, because I know a lot of us is new and some people is like, oh, it's Senate. I just want to hear your feedback about how you feel like this first semester going, like this fall semester going for you as a student senate, and in which like side you need like some improvement, or what you would like to see more in student senate like for next spring. What you think we did good or bad, how you want us to be like better, or how you want us to help you like to probably get more involved if you think that is not the case. So I just want to hear like something from everybody right now.
Where should we start?
Break the ice. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Hey, so improvements. So wow, this I think that's everybody, as a whole. Maybe talk more to the students. There's so many degrees that people are pursuing that are so different. Having that interaction and putting the body out there. Maybe do it once a month, gather maybe 2 people, 3 people, and just spend a couple of hours, maybe 1 hour, then another group, another day, just talking to people. Hey, how you doing? What you work on? Like I like the dynamics of just that face-to-face interaction.
Okay. Thank you for sharing.
That's it.
Who wants to go next? Yes.
Right. So far, I think Senate's done a great job at our town hall gathering some feedback and ideas, different initiatives and sorts of things that students want to see added to Madison College to improve their experience and just, make it more enjoyable. I think something we should definitely focus on next semester is more regional campus outreach and filling that vacant spot for the Watertown campus senator. I actually was going to get together some flyers and get those over there, hopefully in the next couple of days, actually. So just filling that vacancy and hopefully maybe even bringing the Flag Day ceremony for next year to those regional campuses, figuring out logistically what we would need to do to allow that to happen. I think that'd be a great way of getting them more involved and having, them feel like they have a say in what's going on here at Anderson College.
Thank you. Who wants to go next?
Looks like you're ready.
Sure, yeah.
Mr. Raptor.
I mean, I guess I don't have much to say at this point in time. This is my second meeting, first not as a newly minted senator. I will say that last night I ran into an MATC student at the gym. And they told me they had submitted a 3-paragraph complaint saying they felt pressured to vote. And given that this is an early voting campus, that kind of piqued my alarm a little bit. If that got to the wrong person, that maybe that would jeopardize our status in that regard. I know that, I think he mentioned Senator Villarreal, actually.
He was the one pressuring them to vote.
No. No, but he mentioned that he had reached out to them as a trusted.
Gotcha.
To speak on that, I've already reached out to Senator DeFeo and Senator Cameron, and we're speaking, and we're developing a response for that right now.
Oh, so, where is this?
We have not informed you yet. We're gonna put them together, and after this meeting.
Sure.
I shouldn't have said anything.
No, it's totally
No, it's just fine.
It's fine, it's fine. They're independent. Anyone can do anything they want, so it's fine. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Thank you for
Thank you
sharing.
for, sure.
Who wants to go next?
Annette, you're next.
Oh, I could be someone online too.
You got called. The people give them what they
I
want.
mean,
All right. Repeat the question again.
improvement, point of view about this first semester. And I mean, what you like, what you don't like.
Okay. I guess for me, one of the things that I think would be really important, and I realize this is not always possible for everyone, when we have our VPs and our presidents showing up, I feel like we need to show up. I feel like that's a representation of who we are as the Student Senate, that we're here, especially when some of our higher ups come and they're taking time from their schedule to report out to us. So that's something that I feel like we could improve on. And I'm as guilty as others, not guilty, but I have to take meetings at home too at times. But I guess that would be one thing that I would love to see. And I don't think it should be like an official rule. I just think it should be like an unspoken rule that if we have the president of the college coming, or if we have one of the VPs, let's all try and be here. To show them how serious we are as senators. It also take the time to, formulate some questions or have a plan if there's something that we want to talk to them about. I feel like professionalism is everything. So, as far as things that we've done really well, we've done a lot well. Our town hall that we did, that was a little different than previous town halls, I think was great. I felt like we got a lot of good feedback from students. I'm sure, like Senator Avila was saying, having more of those, that would be great to get more feedback from other students across programs. Maybe one of the other things we could, go back to focusing on is doing our, classroom presentations, or trying to get invited into other classrooms to basically talk about Student Senate and make sure students are aware of what Student Senate does. Oh, and I think it would be great if we could get our Student Senate meetings playing at the different campuses, like when they're actually happening.
Streaming.
Wow.
Yeah, I really
That would be
do.
interesting.
And that's it for me.
Thank you for
Thank you for
sharing.
sharing.
Who wanna go next?
Someone online?
I mean, I can go because what you said referred to what I wanna say initially.
Sure. Then we'll
I
call
think
someone.
like, yeah, I think it's going to be great, as Annette said, like, more people will show in person, especially when they have people like dedicate the time on the schedule to be here and talk with us in person. So that would be nice to have like all the Senate show up. And also involving at the Senate, like when we do some events, and we need student senate to show up. We just don't need like 1 or 2 people. I know you have schedule busy, I get it. But if like a student senate is just not like 1 or 2 people, the more people we are outside, the more like involvement and the more power we show to students. So it's better to have like when we make time some event have a lot of people outside there. So that can be like a way to people for people to show or to see the Senate is like, oh, a big part of like Madison College, not just like a name of like a club or something. So I would like people to more participate to the event because on the coming spring semester, you have to do a lot of events to really like show the student senate and the like because we want students to get more involved with us. So that would be nice for people to dedicate the time and show up, even though it's for like 15 minutes, just show up to be like, hey, I just called to say hi. That would be really nice. And that would be also good for us. And yeah, I think that should be all for me.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Let's go to someone online. Any volunteers to go first? Otherwise, I'll call people. Okay, let's go with Bradman. You're the lucky one today. I don't think we're unmuted yet. Bradman, you heard us, right? Are you thinking? Or typing, or what's going on?
Sorry,
Bravo.
can you repeat that?
Yeah.
The
Sure.
question is, I want your feedback about how you feel about the student senate right now, and if you want some improvements, what you like and don't like.
Oof. So, my experience, I mean, it's been okay. It's been fine. I mean, I'll just say there's not much for me to do right now. Probably I'm not in the right group because like there's not much for me to do, I would say. Based on what I can do and my expertise, I would say. So probably get to a different group next semester where I can do something active and then yeah.
Okay, thank you for sharing.
Yeah, we can follow up with you with that. I already talked to you a little bit about it today though, but
Yeah.
yeah. Sylvia or Cameron, do one of you want to go? Who volunteers? I think Cameron's doing something. Is that a hand raise? I can't tell. Nope, he just take his glasses off.
Sylvia has it.
Oh, Sylvia has her hand up. Sorry, I can't see.
I just
Okay.
said that I agree with Lynette that we need to have more face-to-face interactions in any form that we can think of. And then the second thing I said, I just would like to see more advertisement on paper flyers and not electronic around Truax and Goodman South, since I'm a senator from there. Because before I joined Senate, I didn't see a single advertisement about Senate, let alone having students be a part of our meetings to give us their thoughts and opinions on etc. Those are the two things that I think of.
Okay,
Thank you.
very direct. I guess our VP Public Relations has some work to do for next semester, not right now. Okay, thank you for sharing that. And then last but not least, round us out. Cameron.
I think that the town hall, like how we did the town hall this year, worked a lot better than last year, especially with, I think the numbers are right. I think Cole told me that we had like way more students stop by this year than ever before. So that is definitely something we should continue to do. Trying to think because it's hard to think of something like negative because I mean the good definitely outweighs the bad. I think that and you know, myself included, that we all probably could have been better with office hours. You know, I know I missed a couple weeks doing office hours where I just didn't put anything in. And I think other people probably had the same thing happen. So that's one thing where I think we could improve.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you for sharing. Nevaeh?
I just want to give like some appreciation to like the members that are like here. I just want to give appreciation to Angel for always being nice to me whenever I see him, and that for just the way that she talks and speaks. I find confidence in that. You know, for bringing everybody together. Really appreciate that. Elon, for always sending out the emails, being on top of things. You're really good at your job. Kai, for everything that he does for Student Senate, because I know it's hard to manage a lot of people. So I appreciate that. Jose, I really appreciate that. The first time, I remember that you were going through a very hard time when you were doing your first Student Senate thing. So I just really appreciate that you took the time that came in, even though you completely didn't have to, but you did. Declan, I don't know you much, but I appreciate that you're here, and all the questions that you're answering, even on like your first day as a senator. And Cole, for all the good talks that we have during our meetings. And Abrima, every time I see you, you're very like cool person. You're very nice. So I appreciate nice people. And yeah. Oh, and Cameron, for standing on business. Yeah. And Sylvia, I love your resilience and I love your passion.
Those are good words.
Thank
Thank you, Nevaeh. I appreciate that. Very sweet. And I think the same.
Wow, this is a good team development activity. I know there's at least one person that hasn't spoke. And
Oh, it's two actually, not
second
three.
one. Well, you haven't
Oh,
spoken.
four.
I thought you said something.
Four.
Didn't you
Cole,
speak right
you know-
after? I knew Cole, but I thought you said something with Declan, no?
No.
Oh, well, sorry. We'll go to Elo and then Jose and then Cole. So, yeah.
For this semester, I think everything is good. Maybe the only thing, or the only motivation I want to make is I want to get a refrigerator in for our office.
Well, I know what he's writing in the 3-year plan.
That is crazy. It's like, I never been in that office. Be in a microwave, please.
We can probably secure a microwave somewhere. We'll see what I can do. I'm pretty good at,
We do have a whole kitchen thing.
there is a kitchen in the back. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see what we can do. We can only increase, we know our budget limitations, so we'll keep that in mind. But, Senator Villarreal?
Yeah, some good things that I like was everybody that shows up to these meetings. You know, I feel like we developed some good decorum and good relationships. I think, you know, doing that allows us to be at our best to help student body. You know, we ask good questions whenever somebody comes and presents themselves to us, and I think that shows us as a team. And some things that I would like to see change is maybe just doing more outreach. I know a lot of senators already brought this up, but I want to say it again. Yeah, you know, some of the student body, they don't even know that we exist. Let's go ahead and change that. Let's maybe have a couple days where all we're doing is just greeting students that are coming in through the front door.
That's literally a job that exists to be greeters next year.
Well, we can
For
do
the
it
first-
throughout the whole semester. You know, not every day, but I mean, one day every 2 weeks, you know, just for like an hour.
Sure.
Yeah, just, you know, something to remind students that we're here. You know, give them the opportunity to someone to say hi to them, or if they want to be on chat.
Basically, town hall shouldn't just be for that week. It should be like maybe a little more.
And maybe a little less informal, like, you know,
Yeah.
just, we're not trying to, you know, get their attention. We're just gonna say hi to them as they're walking by.
Mhm.
And now pens are, yeah, maybe restructure the town hall a little bit.
Sure, that's something to think about. I think it was good that we did a town hall because that was a challenge to plan. So I think we just need to learn how we could do it. It was the first time us doing it that format. So, it was some growing pains. But now that we know it, we can probably think of something next semester, but thank you for the feedback. And Cole, round us out.
I'm just happy with everything that y'all have accomplished so far. Got a lot of good things done, and we're getting traction to get some more large scale things up and running. So good job with that. No, with a lot of y'all's feedback, I appreciate it, because I think with all of us learning, with us being so new, next semester we have some things that we can jump on and maybe set the course for what does the next Senate look like, because that'll be our next endeavor we take on. So good job, y'all.
Okay, thank you. And with this, do we forget someone?
You.
I know. I wondered if anyone would notice.
Sylvia has their hand up. I don't know.
Oh, okay, Sylvia, you got something to say?
I was just gonna say I really liked how we did the town hall. The way I got people to talk to me is I asked them, I was like, do you want to draw on my board? And like I swear like 9 out of 10 times people were always like drawing on a board, and then that I would ask them questions, and that's how I got a lot of responses that way. So I really like the way we did our town hall meeting this year. I think the students were pretty chill about it. That was my experience when I was out on the floor. That's all I wanted to say. I think that we should do that format again.
Yeah, next semester we're going to Good and South, so we'll find a way to make that work for people. So I think that maybe this new formatting will work even better. So people will make their way over to Good and South. That's our commitment. We have to do it that way because we missed our fall chance. So now we're gonna do that in spring. So somewhere, somehow, some people will find a way to get Good and South. I think for me, I'm gonna defer to later, which means that we're gonna be efficient with our schedule. And you'll see what I think later, because there's literally a year in review I have, but we'll have to get through the entire agenda to get there. So you really want to hear from me?
Yes.
We'll get our way to the
Everybody's
end.
sharing something.
Huh?
Everybody's sharing something. so-
I will. It's embedded in the Senate. I have to follow Carly Pro, otherwise I wouldn't be a good president, so.
Okay. Thank you guys for sharing, and we try our best.
Thank you very much. We can move on to disclosures and recusals. Would any member like to disclose any partnerships, affiliations, associations, ownerships, et cetera, regarding any of the business items up for discussion? I said that really fast, but nothing? We're not discussing anything crazy anyway. Okay, moving on. Reports from officers, advisors, standing committees. Executive Council and President report. My report, I would just like to say, if you remember, every senator is supposed to be part of 2 committees. We didn't do that this year because not everyone really had a committee to be part of, because shared governance was kind of undergoing that like reform. And so we suspended that rule. Makes you only had to be part of 1 committee, your 1 standing committee. Next semester, we are going to implement that back. So you'll be part of 2 committees as a senator. So our officers already were part of 2 committees. A few other people too, like Lando and Angel, I think were part of 2, as well as Sylvia, you were part of 2, but other people weren't part of 2. So we want to just make it so that everyone kind of, back to you. Well, let me finish this first. We just want to make it so that everyone's part of 2. And so I had an idea for 2 committees. One would be, this is idea to change the constitution of the entire.
You want me to go do that?
Yes. Please. Don't do anything crazy. Anyways, yes, I would like people to be part of more committees, and I think the 2 committees I'm thinking of is like having a person be in charge of something called strategy and innovation, and that person be in charge of implementing the 3-year plan, which would include sustainability goals, which would include regional campus outreach, which would include our alumni relations. So I think we need to get back to what we set ourselves to do, working on those 3 main issues, because we wrote a lot of resolutions this year. I would actually like to move away from writing resolutions, and I'd actually like to move towards making like issues known, because resolutions are good for learning, but it's not good for accomplishing a tangible outcome. So I'd like to those to a minimum, not eliminate them. I know we're working on a Black History Month resolution, so I know that that's like on the table for something upcoming next semester, and I know that there's a mental health one, but I'd like to refrain from working on resolutions. I think we're resolution heavy right now. I'd like to think not about bills necessarily, about creating actual change. So we got our bearings, now we got to be more effective with it. So that's the big thing. So that's all I got for you. Any questions? Ugh. We might also create a Department of Government Efficiency. We'll see.
That was gonna be my question. Are you gonna, create any new, or is there plans to create any new committees?
The new committees would be that, like, what's it called? Innovation and strategy, and then maybe a committee that to like enforce our resolutions, just work on that specifically. Because we already have a good number of resolutions. I would like to, like one, publish them on our website, two, make sure that the newspaper knows about them, and three, do something about the words that we wrote. We're really good at saying we believe things. We gotta actually put our, actions behind the words. So that's what I've seen. Yes, Angel?
I just got one quick question, maybe it's something we can work on. So we have the bills and the resolutions already made, and we commit ourselves to support those clubs or people. And sometimes it's too much of paperwork or just too many files to find out which one is, just to see if we can have that more accessible for the times. Like in January, before I got here, 2020, they actually had a bill created. We committed to support the so-and-so.
Yep.
Just to see we can have that more easy, and we can do some presency.
Yep, that's part of what creating the news. So I think one way to do is get it in the newspaper so that people know what we're doing. Put it in our website and have like a timeline of like, here's when we passed what, so that anyone could find it on our website. And then also in our internal SharePoint. So we should publish things better. So I don't know. It's a lot of work though.
It is.
So I'm trying to get there, but I think once things are slowly improving, because these things didn't exist last year, right? But you'll see that later. So we'll do a report on that. But I just want to move on and make sure we're getting to everything. But next one, administration finance.
So we don't have any club funding request up to Monday. And we went over the budget, and we actually saved good enough money for the next semester. And I think we used most of the money for the food, but we saved a lot for the travel fee, like 600. Our total budget is like 56,000. We plan to improve our budget for the next year to cover any potential increased cost for like additional VP positions or additional committees, and any adjustment for the payments. That's the end of my report.
Okay, thank you. Any questions, quick? Yeah, quick question.
Enough up for the refrigerator?
It's not allocated on this year, but good question. Moving on, Rules and Legislative Affairs Committee, VP Hashmi, he is absent. Team Development Committee, VP Salifu, quick report.
Yes, I want to let you know that the t-shirt is available. It is right behind Cole. So at the end, please grab your size so you can take like a picture together. That'll be like the end of the year pictures from Senate. And also remind you, if you're available, come to the trip next week. It's Sunday to Monday. You can just come for one day. We have some extra tickets available. And yeah, that's all.
Yep, and the 15th and the 16th, Declan, you're invited since you're an official student senate member. Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, moving on to Public Relations Committee.
No report.
Well, you came all the way in? Oh, that's right.
You didn't give me any money, and I didn't know why.
I'm so sorry. This is for you. Is that an appropriate amount, right, with,
I appreciate that.
okay.
I think I should be able to find my way out.
Thank you.
No, wait, come here.
Oh.
We only have ones. Thank you. There's a surprise. We got pizza for you. Thank you for coming. I forgot I did not give you.
And I left my wallet here?
And then you didn't have a phone to come up and get me because you couldn't notify me.
Yeah, so I guess it was code to your phone.
I'm so sorry. Well, that's student senate for you. We try really hard and we somehow get through it. So yeah, we do have pizza. Should we get through a couple of things first and then take a quick break? I think that sounds good. Okay, let's finish a couple of these reports. So it motivates you to go faster. Public relations, go.
No report.
Smart answer. Advisory report, Cole.
Yep, so while we do this, I'll quickly do my report, and then part of it is a survey that every single one of you that's a part of Senate has to complete, including you online. You can do that survey while you're having some of your pizza. So first thing is that if you are planning to attend the trip next week, you are going to have to complete a travel waiver. I'm going to email all 7 of you who said, hey, I want to go. If you want to go on the trip, but you did not fill out that form, you need to come and talk with me. This is for anybody on Senate who's planning on going that trip. There are waivers you have to complete for overnight travel. And those have to be into me before you leave to go up to Chula Vista. So if I find you go and you did not complete the travel waiver, you may be held responsible for your own expenses that are up there. We will not reimburse. You need to complete this travel waiver. So it's really easy. It should take you no more than 5 minutes. Those of us that went to Rhinelander, super quick, super easy. Secondly, please make sure that you are accomplishing any remaining tasks that you have within your role, as next week we don't have any scheduled meetings because it's finals week, so please take care of yourselves. Lastly, Student Life has every single Student Life employee and individual that's receiving any type of compensation need to complete a learning outcomes assessment every single semester. You all received at least 2 emails from me about this. It gave you a link and a QR code. What I'm going to ask you to do now is I just put it in the chat. I'm going to share my screen in a moment. I don't care how you do it. It should take you no more than 7 minutes. Please complete this as soon as you are able. I'm assuming we're all going to complete it, so I don't have to say anything about withholding your stipend. That's a part of that email.
Already took it. Nice.
Did you already send these?
Yeah,
I did. So if you've already done it, you're done.
Sweet.
But
Oh,
every single person in Student Life is going to hear about this. So I need all of y'all to complete it. For those of you online, please complete it as well.
Nice.
And if you're here as a guest, but you are a part of any Student Life organization, so think PTK,
This is
Clarion, Volunteer Center, stuff like that, you also need to complete this. But you only need to do it once. So if you're part of multiple organizations, you just need to do this one time.
If you just look at the
Well,
cell,
unless you already did it.
you'll find it.
You haven't done it? No, like, no, you don't have to. You're not on here with that. So you're good. You don't have to do it.
Do you have the
No,
list?
you're good. I'm
What?
Do you have the list?
I just got access to survey today. They kept on telling me I never did the trainings, which is a lie.
By the way, you're free to come. Yes.
I don't know if I.
So at 5:55, I will end my report. I think that's the 10 minutes. So in the meantime, get this done. Please go get your pizza.
Oh, no.
Continue. Yeah, go ahead.
We're good? Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
Please
I
get
just want to
your
wait
pizza.
for you to be done.
Yeah, no, please go ahead.
Yeah, come on.
That's what you guys said.
I gave you everything. I mean, that's unrelated.
Thank you, Angela.
It's a team, it's a team.
Thank you, Annette. Thank you, Annette.
Really appreciate that.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, so
I did not think that through.
Are you?
I was, not me, don't make me. It's anonymous, it's anonymous. No, it is, it is. Yes.
Yeah.
No, it's not my money. It's not. I'm not gonna lie. It is anonymous and it's not.
Do it. So if I'm you,
I'm not. I wouldn't call myself.
I'm
Not a nice guy.
No, it's all right.
I wouldn't call myself evil, but I think I'm quite, yeah, harsh. Paper, if that's, it won't be published until the next issue.
Yeah.
I remember.
Understood. Maybe I should talk to him.
Yeah, exactly.
You can.
Well, yeah, I was talking about like, yeah, the reason why I like never saw it.
Okay.
Oh, I'm working on
You
it.
go to any point. No, all right.
Like, oh yeah, I remember people said like, do you prefer the carrot or the stick? I'm like, the stick. You can see people over. You know, choose admit so that you can be people to
What'd you say?
care.
All right, 2 more minutes and I'll be taking this down. Again, please,
I saw that you did half an jalapeno tonight.
You're welcome.
Okay, go grab some.
I listen. Sometimes. Yeah, no problem.
Where's my phone?
But that's an anonymous donation, so. Sorry, people online, that's what you missed out on. You can watch us eat pizza virtually. I don't know what I'm supposed to say.
I'll be my guest. If that's probably
Inclusion. I don't know if I'm quite inclusive.
The other thing, Patrick, here, in case anybody needs it, but I gotta collect my good smelling one back. They do not have a big fight over this.
I'm developing.
She's like, that's mine. I'm like, remember, we traded. It was your idea. You wanted to trade it. But you know, she lost it, of course.
So please
And that's
continue
all my
to
bad.
fill that out and finish up as you eat or online, as you continue to follow along. I yield my time.
Yay. Moving on, reports from Student Select Committee, Student Activities Board, BB Tao, anything quickly?
He just stepped out.
I will take over for that. In the Student Activities Board, we'll be discussing the student leader compensation review. So just make sure that for the student leader compensation, we will be updating some of those amounts. So, or we'll be discussing having an update to some of those amounts. So Student Senate supports increasing it, but we need the support of the entire SAB. And we'll be discussing how that fits into the SAB budget, as well as discussing increasing the student activities fee in line with what it would be for the tuition fee raise. So yeah, I don't think we're gonna be doing anything extra. And I think if anything, we're probably increasing it below the tuition rate increase, which would be an increase between 10 and 20 cents. Not much. But that'll cover everything. If we just raising it, I mean, think about it, you collect 10 extra cents from everyone, that actually creates a lot of money. So, yep, there's that. Moving on, textbook affordability committee, Professor Kelly Okerchow, anything?
Nothing to report at this time.
Nothing to report, okay. Student parent support group, Senator Cutter.
Yesterday we spent the entire meeting going over our, I think, second or third draft of the children in the classroom, basically how it's gonna be formulated, the recommendations that we're making to the instructors, obviously not telling them what they have to do, but giving them some groundwork to work, some area to work from. As far as when it's gonna be done, right now, it's being reviewed by an English major that's on our committee. And they're gonna go through a fine tooth comb, wordsmith it, make it sound good, then we're gonna review it again. So hopefully, we'll have a policy that we will be presenting soon to the next steps.
That's good. The only thing I mentioned is that I write, every single time I write on there, I'm in support of the idea, but I don't think it's safe for them to run around in chem labs.
Definitely, that's one of the things we have.
Great, I wrote that
Is
so many
that-
times, like in every single survey, like, please do not let them run around in chem labs, because people are like, why not? I'm like, there's a good reason not to let them do that.
Actually, there's several different hazardous type things, and we were making sure that we kept that in mind, and that is part of the policy itself.
Perfect, I would love for students or children not to be poured hydrochloric acid on them, so.
Yeah,
Great.
definitely don't want any liability issues. Also with the policy, there's a number of links in there. For some of the college policies that are in place. There's information in there from, the paper that, Kai and what other school kind of worked on the paper?
Rhinelander.
Okay, so that Rylander and Madison College worked on. So we have some data in there too as to why, instructors should support it in the report.
Okay, thank you very much. Moving on. Inclusion Moline Coordinator, vacant. Reports from regional metro campuses. Senator Stacy Brenner, absent. Watertown, vacant. Board Senator Cutter.
No reports?
Okay, Fort Atkins, Senator Dirt, he's not here yet. Goodman South, Senator Bissonnette. Are you back yet? Are they back yet?
No report.
Cameron? Cameron back? Cameron, are you back? Can you hear us? You leave?
Still like them.
Oh,
There he is.
okay,
We're good.
perfect. All right, just making sure. Lando, okay, we're not quite there yet, Lando. And come back for pizza if you want. Moving on, we're at, Senator, we are almost there. Okay, anyways, Goodman South, you said nothing. Great, we are perfectly there. Okay, Lando. Yep, Resolution 8, Premium Parking Initiative. VP Powell and Senator Dirks, take it away. You want me to pull up on the screen?
No, I got it. Lando's on his way back.
Okay, well, we'll just do a quick introduction. So VP Powell, if you want to talk about like the idea behind why this is even being read.
Sure.
Oh, you got it, perfect.
We heard that the parking situation at MATC is chaotic. So we decided to write a bill aiming to set up a community to develop an algorithm or an app to build order by allowing people to register and making booking reservations for the parking space. And this will basically be this will include two parts. One is the more coding part, asking us to write like a database and a user interaction interface to take the data and make the reservation. And the other part is more technical issue. We try to work with the STEM Center to come up with a plan so that to have somehow a detector. One example we can think of is using infrared detector to update the live status of the parking space and send it back to our program, and then reflect it to the user and leave the user to make the decision to make the reservation or not. And yeah, I will move it to Senator Dirks to add anything.
And if you want to read it too.
Sure. All right, so this is the resolution for the premium parking initiative that we cut up during our last finance council meeting. Essentially, I know what Yolong was saying. The current parking situation at Madison College can be pretty crazy. I don't know how many of you guys commute at all, go to school, but essentially there are a lot of parking spots that get filled up real fast, especially up front. And with enrollment increasing exponentially so far and only, getting higher and higher, it can be a little, just very hectic to spot and get to your classes on time. And obviously, we want to ensure that students are making it to their classes on time, that they don't get into an accident or have anything bad happen because of the parking lot situation. So essentially, we propose to this resolution to kind of help alleviate some of the issues with kind of getting parking spots. And I'll read it through here so you can all kind of listen to what we thought up for our ideas. So Student Senate believes that students should have the right to reserve and utilize premium parking spots closer to the building to alleviate some congestion in the parking lots. So our primary reasoning, Madison College has had challenging parking issues and limiting spaces. Well, as I said, the enrollment just keeps going higher and higher. The current parking structure is fairly disorganized. We don't have a formal system. in place. It's kind of a free-for-all where you just find an open spot in your park, and that can lead to a chaotic and frustrating parking experience for students. So we believe it is necessary to find ways in improving the student experience by better organizing the parking on campus. And so we propose to develop a mobile, first there's a database, and then a mobile app that will essentially allow users to view the spots in real time that are open and reserve the spots in advance for a small fee. So essentially, it's sort of like if you've ever been to like any sort of really formal event where it's like you reserve your parking in advance, and then essentially you just go through, they check and see your ID and make sure you're the person parking there. And as Yulong stated earlier, part of that detecting if the right person's in the right spot would be using infrared lasers, which we would be able to hopefully partner with the STEM Center for in order to figure out exactly how we can implement that sort of system to detect whether or not the spots are taken. So that could be another great part of this resolution is a partnership in collaboration with the STEM Center, as well as with the public safety as well, because they currently have pretty much all the records for students' vehicle information that commute. So I think getting information from them to start up the database is kind of our first step. And so by offering students these parking spots for a small fee, we're hoping, the Student Activities Board will add another committee or a small group of students to help figure out what that fee should be, if it should be tied in to the parking fee all students pay, or if it should be on an individual basis based on, either how often you use the spot or potentially introducing like a membership program that would essentially you'd sign up for it, you'd pay, so much during the semester to have access to those spots. And then figuring out, how many spots we'd be able to reserve based on how many students are in the program. So then we, the Student Senate, for the reasons stated, support this resolution to reserve several spots at the Truex campus to implement the premium parking pass with the hopes that we'll be able to eventually decrease the parking fee that all students pay in their student activities fees as well. So our commitments. So we resolved to support public safety, the STEM Center, and PTK as well. They sent out a survey in 2022 to get a gauge on students' perspectives and opinions on that parking situation a few years ago. See what they were thinking on different ways they could, improve that. And I think getting some feedback from them with those surveys could also be beneficial to us as well. We're hoping to form the PPI committee or a work group where we would invite representatives from each of the organizations listed here, Public Safety, STEM Center, and PTK, to all have a say in the operations and the logistics of how we're going to implement the program. So we're hoping to host regular meetings to update the committee on the premium parking initiative. Could be sort of like our Senate committee meetings where it's once a week, but obviously we may have to adjust that depending on, how long it takes to get things done. So that's sort of still in the works, but we're closely working with public safety we'll also work with the new transportation manager over at, I believe it's the Goodman South campus, to reserve spots in the front of the main Truex building for a pilot program, hopefully starting up next semester or hopefully as soon as next year. It's the long-term goal, at least get the parking initiative started sooner rather than later and working out the kinks as we go. So then our partnership with the STEM Center will be developing some infrared lasers to detect the open and taken parking spots. And then later down the road in the app, we're hoping that we can translate those messages, you know, of is it taken, is it not, directly in there so you can see, oh, you know, can I park here? Is the spot taken? If it is, then obviously you can't. If not, then that's totally a valid spot. But then, yeah, we'll be overseeing the development of an app with a database linked to it that can track the parking live. That's sort of our big goal, very ambitious. So it may take a few years, but we're hoping to at least get this off the ground and start by just having public safety check the spots manually or even install a new camera just outside the building pointing towards the spots so they can quickly see, you know, if they're taken and the vehicles, who they're, you know, if the people that drive those vehicles are enrolled in the program. So then we'll also be reaching out to staff and faculty in the IT department to resolve any technical issues. I already talked to CS Professor Chris Peterson here at the college. He's one of my instructors, and he gave us all some code to start with for the database. So we're hoping to get a good jump start on that over winter break, begin to flesh that out. So Student Senate's, of course, hosting a ribbon cutting ceremony to formally commemorate the beginning of the pilot program. So we're hoping to host that and just, you know, kind of over by those spots and then go from there, have a little celebration. But yeah, I also want to give credit to my mom, who is an alumnus of Madison College class of 2018, who gave me some great ideas when we were developing all of this. Her ideas were sort of about having students register for the spots prior to coming. Well, we kind of thought of the more abstract stuff, like how we would actually develop the app and using the lasers. But yeah,
Sounds like
good to
you
have
have
some
some alumni relations. Yes, we're thinking the same thing. That's the formal bill. At this point, do we have a motion to adopt this? This is just so we can get to the point of discussion. There's no point in having discussion if you don't want to adopt, at least discussing it. We have a motion to.
Sylvia has her hand up.
Oh, yes, Sylvia?
Sorry, I don't have any questions.
A motion.
Please.
Oh, okay, motion from Senator Bissonette, and I think I see, well, yeah, we'll do Senator Avila. Second, because obviously you're the co-author, so. But yeah, so, okay, so that's probably moved and seconded. So it's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? This is a discussion point where we would start talking about things. Senator Crowder?
All right, so want to make sure I'm visualizing the right space. Are we talking about the front of the building, I mean, the cafeteria parking lot or a different parking lot?
Yeah, I was thinking sort of over by the cafeteria there, there was also those spots over by the bike racks, I believe.
I'm not sure what you're talking about. Oh, I think those are for the, those are like charging units, spaces, right?
I thought that was disability parking.
I don't know.
Yeah.
what it is, but
Which area, I'm sorry?
Sorry.
Which area are you talking about?
Someone mentioned that. I think you mentioned it. Yeah.
Mhm.
What area are you talking about? By the
Bike
bike
racks,
racks?
they used to be the main entrance.
I think that's disability parking.
Yeah.
Are we talking about the one like by Gateway entrance? Like the one, the waterfall?
There's
Yeah, those are
also the
disability.
gateway spots. We were thinking of doing some there. Yeah.
So the reason I was asking is because, the two places that come to mind for me, are in front of the building, along the side there where there's that, straight row.
Yeah.
Of spaces, you know, what I'm talking about that,
Yep.
and then potentially some spaces in front of the cafeteria. The only issue I worry about is that, like, I'll use myself as an example. As a student who's about to have a full knee replacement on this right knee here, I have disability, a temporary
Yeah, of
disability
course.
pass, and I tend to use it whatever spot is available because that's my only option.
Yeah.
So then you'll need to factor in how that's gonna hinder things,
Oh,
because
of
someone may
course.
pay for a spot, but.
You wouldn't pay for a disability.
Yeah.
You're
Well,
legally not allowed
No,
to.
no, it's not that.
Oh.
It's someone who's paid for the spot, and then a student like myself goes, ooh, that's the only spot left, I'm going in that spot.
I
Sure.
hear that it's taken away from her potential.
Yeah.
spot, you know.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind, because then there's
Of
gonna
course,
be
we
someone
don't-
who potentially pays for it, and then someone with a disability who then gets in that
Yeah,
spot because
we
it's
get
the
it.
only one available. And I always use that particular door because it's the one that has the least amount of walking, or
Yeah.
less chance for my knee to go out.
Yeah.
I got a comment.
Yeah, of
I
course.
think this is an awesome idea, a good, outside the box way to generate revenue.
Mhm.
And I commend you guys on this. I just hope this can go in a way where, you know, the highest bidder just doesn't get the best parking spots.
Mhm.
But if that may be it, then, you know, that's also a good way of generating money.
I don't think we would, I don't know, that sounds wrong to me, like.
Yeah, I
No,
just
it doesn't. That wasn't the goal. The
That
goal
was
was
not the goal.
to.
Yep, yeah,
Mhm.
just from
But that,
outside.
no, that's good. I didn't even think about it.
Mhm. Yeah.
I mean, I personally like racing people to get to the. But, I guess my like problem would be with this plan is like, just like the prices, like you kind of already pay for the parking, like and your tuition, so like kind of just adding more money to pay for a parking spot to school that you go to. I don't know, I just.
Let me comment as one of the people that helped them write the bill. If you paid for this, you obviously wouldn't be paying for parking, you'd be embedded. And the goal of this is to eliminate the parking fee overall. We'd be using, the goal is to have the parking fee paid for solely by that.
So students using this, that money would go towards decreasing the parking fee for everyone else. Sort of the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
So would the same people like who, like say if you like paid for a parking spot, would that be your parking spot for the whole semester or just a one-time thing?
Semester,
We were thinking for the semester
until we get to the point where it could be one time.
until we could eventually make it where it's a day by day thing, which could get a little crazy, but
We'll see what happens.
yeah.
So it sounds like on a moral basis, you're looking to put like a price ceiling on that, because I know, based on what I've heard from other students, in terms of parking, that equilibrium price would be pretty high. People would be
Oh, yeah.
really demanding that. So you're looking to break even on those infrastructure costs for the lasers and the app development then?
Mhm. That's the goal. We don't want to obviously go too crazy with the spending. We want to keep it within our, our budget that we end up making. And we did talk about paying public safety a small fee as well for allowing, their cooperation and helping us figure out getting those spots reserved. So, yeah, we'll definitely have to keep an eye out on that and make sure that we're not overspending when we're trying to implement the infrared lasers.
Maybe just a few more comments of people that didn't talk yet, so I'll go Angel first and then Senator, or did you have something to say?
No.
Angel first and then Senator Crowder, and I don't see anyone online?
No.
Okay.
Mine is super quick, so you'll be open, you and Gilan, to talk to the director of the IT, Corey. He can provide a little bit of more insight. I'm gonna meet with him tomorrow.
Okay.
If he said yes, would you be open to talk to him?
Oh, of course.
So he
Yeah,
can
I'd
give
love
you,
to.
different sight of the, you will be open for that?
Yeah, of course.
Did you, Senator Crowder?
And obviously, just one more comment, part of the goals of this was to create a committee that would work on this. This is not a fully developed idea.
Mhm.
There's obviously more work to do, but we'll come up with more ideas as the committee forms and you start coming up with a more formal plan.
Yes.
Yes. Senator Crowder.
I was just gonna say, I love the idea that, you're looking at paying, public safety a stipend.
Mhm.
I would just ask that, the committee does, some type of, stipulation on how that stipend is spent.
Mhm.
And the reason I bring it up in that fashion is because I think about like the gating compacts that we have in Wisconsin,
Mhm.
where those funds get redirected in certain ways, and I just want to see them used for students. So like maybe public safety uses that particular funding or whatever, funding coupled with that to do some type of student initiative.
Interesting. I
That
like
is
the sound of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I was just like wondering, like, for student employees, do they get like some sort of um, like maybe some parking space, like for like student employees that like personally work here?
Do you remember the
Like they
part
would
of
be
that?
exempt, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my initial idea for this whole thing was based off of something my high school did, which was student of the week, where you'd have like, two students get selected, typically rising juniors or seniors, that, got involved in school, were doing well academically, or were very involved in extracurricular activities. And so they would get those spots and it would switch out. And, you'd get a little pass that you'd put up on your dashboard, to show that you were in the program for that week, and then you'd give it back to the office at the end. So yeah, I think having some sort of priority system to student employees and those with disabilities would be something we would want to definitely implement like right away.
Senator of the week too.
Yeah, if for this, you can be the last comment if you can make it quick, because I'd like to enter this into the voting
Yeah.
portion, yeah.
This, I guess, a good question I can ask afterwards. Where do the funds go for the parking fee right now? What does that consist of? Does that consist?
That goes towards maintenance. So it goes towards anything related to parking. So there's like a fund for parking that is sitting left over. Currently, it actually is overspent, but we're spending it down. That's why our fee was so much lower this year. We will have to increase it, but that goes towards bus passes for students. That goes towards maintenance of the parking lot. That goes for lighting payments of the parking lot. That goes for the shuttle. So those are the four main expenses. There's a couple other transportation related expenses that funds go towards. But this would go towards alleviating that, and we'd be able to charge everyone less of a parking fee, theoretically.
Yeah.
And eventually we'd be making holy money out of it.
It's the goal.
Maybe take 5 years, but.
Yeah, this is a longer term thing, kind of like the rental program where obviously, you didn't really have something until like 10 years after, but it's still just getting it started is sort of the goal, forming that committee, so.
If no one else is opposed to taking this up to a vote, then we can go ahead and start with that. It's been properly moved and seconded. So at this point, we can do a vote by roll call. We typically do. So if you'd like to call that out.
Starting the voting, Vice President of Administration and Finance, aye. Next is Vice President of Legislative Affairs, Hashmi.
Abstain. I'll fix it later.
Next is Vice President of Team Development, Salifu.
Aye.
Next is Vice President of Public Relations, Jackson Winters.
Same.
Oh, that one.
Next, Senator Vila.
Yes, aye.
Next, Senator Cyril Brunner.
Abstain.
Next, Senator Kamara.
Aye.
Next, Senator Raptor.
Raptor.
Aye.
Next, Senator Lario.
Senator Villarreal votes aye.
Next, Senator Wilkin.
Aye.
Next, Portage Senator Crowder.
Aye.
Next, Reedsburg Senator Stacy Brunner.
Abstain.
Next, Fort Atkinson Senator Dirks.
Aye.
Next, Goodman South Senator Brisonet.
Aye.
Okay, if you'd like to calculate totals.
4 abstain versus 10 aye.
Perfect. Thank you. With that, this resolution passes. We can move on to, I'm gonna pull up very quickly. We're gonna go overflow and I'm gonna make it very quick. Because I have a way to maybe even finish only 5 minutes late. Sorry, y'all. We just had a lot of pizza. Okay, am I sharing? As you'll see here, I finally updated the SAC petition. So the QR code isn't there because I didn't want to make something and not have it active. But theoretically, this is what it would look like. You see Nevaeh's, cute design here. That would work. It's attractive to the eye and it makes people want to look at it. There'd be a QR code here. We need your help to support the Student Achievement Center. Due to budget constraints, funding for the SAC tutors has decreased by $19,000 for 2024-2025. We need funds to support fair wages for our community of peer tutors and front desk staff. Please sign your name here if you believe in the work of the SAC. Maybe you should say the mission. Oops, not all caps. But overall, do we like that? Is that okay? Could this be a poster? Yes.
I would just say to make the text of the white the same color as the other white.
Oh, is it not white?
No, that one is like a grayish white and that one is like a white.
Wow, I could not tell. Good call. Did it change? I don't know. But I think I did that.
It looks like it.
I think I did it for that one. Does this look better?
Yes.
Great. See, you have an eye for that stuff. I don't. Senator Declan, Raptor.
So, just a proposal then, the part that says funding for SAC tutors is decreased by 19,000 for 24 to 25.
Yes.
What if we increase that year range? Because I know that the decreases in budget have been happening for quite some time now. I think, what's it, 3 or 4 years?
I'm not sure it's fair because we were not increasing our student population. Do people remember looking at that population graph and where the funding was at? Because technically funding went up last year, from 2023 to 2024. It actually went up, and this is the first year it's going down in the last 3 years. So that wouldn't really support our statement, I don't think, but that's because you probably haven't seen the graphs, I'm sure, right? So maybe what we could do is, when are you done with finals?
Friday?
This Friday?
Next
Friday. I'll send it to you, and then if you feel like it, we can talk sometime over break about it, because this will be an ongoing issue.
Sounds good.
Okay? And technically, because I'm just showing this to you now, we can always change it before the semester starts. So if you have any ideas then, well, let me know after you have time to look at the source documents. Okay, sounds like that sounds good. Anyone else have anything? I don't think I saw anyone online. No one online? We're good here? Saying nothing, we can move forward. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Nevaeh, for holding me accountable. Finally got this done, so. Okay, moving on, let's read something really quickly. Bill number 2, attendance policy review. I will open this up here and I'm gonna read it. Sorry.
I have it.
Oh, yeah. Gonna pull it up. Can you zoom in a little bit then?
Yep.
That's the only reason I was gonna pull it up. Yep. So I'm just gonna go ahead and read it. This came, as you scroll up, this is a bill number 2 on attendance policy update. Student Senate will amend the bylaws to update the attendance policy and more clearly define late arrivals. The formal motion is the bylaws will be amended to add a new section to update the attendance policy and more clearly define the definition of late arrivals for General Assembly and committee meetings under Article 4 attendance and under Article 16 committees. Primary reasoning, whereas Article 4, Section 2, subsection E for the General Assembly states, the Senate member cannot attend a General Assembly meeting. It's their responsibility to notify the Senate President and advisor at least 1 hour advance and start of the meeting. Article 4, Section 2, subsection F for the General Assembly states, the Senate member cannot attend the Senate committee meeting. It's their responsibility to notify the committee chair at least 1 hour advance to start the meeting. While there's current policy outlining the procedure for late arrivals to committee and General Assembly meetings, there's no penalty for failing to notify the Senate President, advisor, or committee chair when a Senate member cannot attend a meeting on time. There's also no guideline for how to determine whether someone has arrived late to a meeting, whether they arrive 1 minute late, 5 minutes late, 30 minutes late, or only attend the last 5 minutes of a meeting. For the reasoning listed above, we, the members of the Student Senate, believe that the attendance policy should be updated to ensure that Senate members are operating at the highest level of organizational efficiency and holding themselves accountable to serve a student body. Additional information, Senate members include the president, officers, general senators, and regional senators. The term officer is defined as an official member of the Senate Executive Council, specifically the offices of the president, vice president of administration and finance, vice president of legislative affairs, vice president of team development, vice president of public relations. The late no notification label should be used when a Senate member arrives late to a meeting but does not notify the proper authority. Receiving 4 late no notification labels on the attendance record shall count as an unexcused absence and result in 1 additional point accrued for that Senate member. The specific bylaws revision, the bylaws shall be amended to read the following: Article 4, Section 2, modify subsection E to meeting absence, Senate member, and then the other modified section would be to add subsection F up to E. And then you would add new language in the event that a Senate member does not notify the proper authority for their late arrival or early departure. They will instead have a late no notification or late left early no notification to add to the attendance record. Add subsection F, late arrivals. Late arrival constitutes arriving after roll call is finished. If a Senate member does not attend at least half the duration of the meeting, they'll be automatically labeled as absent for that meeting. Senate member arrives late to the meeting, does not participate, they may receive further penalties in either point accrual or otherwise. Article 16 adds subsection 4, committee operations. Subsection A, called order. Chairperson must begin the meeting within 5 minutes of the scheduled time at the discretion of the chairperson. Should a chairperson not arrive by the scheduled start time, the next highest ranking committee member may begin the meeting. Subsection B, reporting attendance. Committee chairpersons shall report attendance record for their committees to the vice president of administration and finance. This report shall be made before the scheduled general assembly meeting that week. That is the bill in its entirety. I recommend that we do not take this up for discussion today and that this just move on to the unfinished business next time. So if people generally like the bill and want to discuss it later, I would take a motion to, yes, that works too. Motion to table by Senator Dirks, second by VP Tao. Okay, are any opposed? Any discussion on that motion? Don't see any online. So if that's the case, then we can do a vote of unanimous approval. If no one objects, then we're allowed to carry forward with that motion. Table this bill number 2 in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cupcake in your mouth. Okay, bill tabled. Motion passes to table bill number 2 to the next meeting. The reason why I wanted to introduce this so that we could have discussion on it first thing in the next meeting of next year. We don't need to have that discussion now. Last thing I wanted to do is a year in review that says it'll take 10 minutes. I'll take 3 once I get it on screen. Hold on. I will take no much longer of this meeting time once I figure out where the meeting is. Let me share my screen. Can you see my screen now? Can you see my screen now? How do I present this? Present. Is it presenting?
Yep.
There we go. Okay, so thank you for staying a little bit later, but this is just a quick review of everything that we've done this year for our 63rd session of Senate for the fall 2024. There was our Senate at the end of the May induction ceremony for all the new people going into it. We don't have as big a crew now because of various reasons, but you'll see why. For membership, we did have staff turnover. We lost 3 Senate members during the fall semester, but we did also gain 3 new Senate members in the form of now VP Nevaeh Jackson Winters, Senator Declan Rafter, and then Senator Jose Villarreal. Sorry, I went alphabetical. I realized that's not the chronological order of things. Events, we did so many things. During the summer, we did NACA Summer Government Institute. We did the High Ropes course just before the semester began. We did 9/11 Memorial. We did Wisconsin Student Government. We did Campus Fun Days, both at Goodman South and at Truex campus. We did the Senate Town Hall, which was a success with 250 students visited and like 100-ish ideas collected, maybe. Sounds about right. And then we went to Spooktacular. So thank you for everyone that attended those events. And then legislation, we discussed 2 bills and 8 resolutions. Context, last year, the entire year, 3 bills were discussed and 6 resolutions. If you take the total amount discussed between both bills and resolutions added together, we actually did all of that within the summer and the fall. We did all of what last year's Senate did in just the summer and fall instead of the spring. I know in the spring that we're gonna do a lot more. So, we've already exceeded last year's efficiency, if you want to measure it, in terms of build and resolution. So congratulations to everyone for that. And for additional context, Senate 61 discussed one bill and 2 resolutions. So we are constantly improving. So I'd love to hit or set a really high ceiling for that next year, so that the next year's Senate has something to aspire to. We created issue-based resolution supporting Student Achievement Center and parking reform. We did identity-based resolution supporting LGBTQ Pride Month, Juneteenth, Protective Emergency and Human Services Week, Hispanic Heritage Month, Native American Heritage Month, Indigenous Peoples Day, and International Education Week. Oh, can you see this? Sorry, thought that would, I didn't realize that was on screen. But this is what we've accomplished, and that's all I had. I just kind of wanted to, just go through everything it is that we did and just show you, like, we did a lot of work. I know it might not seem like it, and then we had some low moments during the semester, but I think I didn't want to overshadow the good that we did. So thank you everyone for listening, and I think it's time for a round of applause for ourselves. Thank you everyone for that. The last thing is announcements. Who wants to do that announcement? Yay, you should say it.
I just got a quick question.
Oh, yeah.
The orientation leader, the student center participated at that. Can we add that to it or not?
Yeah, we can add that. At some point, I'll turn this into a newspaper article, so that's actually good to mention.
That's it.
So orientation leader, there were members, I couldn't think of everything, but yeah, what's our announcement?
Happy New Year.
No, it's an exclamation point. Say it with gusto.
Happy New Year. And you guys, what? Are we in 2025?
We will be Thursday, January 23rd, 2025.
And then our next meeting will be on Thursday, January 23rd, in room C2402 at 4:30 p.m.
Thank you, everyone. I need a motion to adjourn. I don't know who did it first. Okay, well, that did it first. And then I got the second. So.
There's a co-motion.
Okay, yep. At this point, if there's no opposition, we can do a vote of unanimous approval. Actually, let's do a vote by voice roll call. All those in favor of adjourning, say aye or raise your hands.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Hearing that, you guys have it. This meeting's adjourned at 6:36 p.m.
And people who are here, can we just get a end of year picture?
Oh, yeah, good.